Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got the whole band back together. It is another triple threat going on. It is the Shant, Dan the Man.
Wow. That was loud.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Commish, and not only will I be the advocate of this podcast, I will provide coding for my other two podcasters who apparently have a sore throat or a cough. And we are going to present to you a tables, ladders, and chairs preview today. Not only are we doing that, but this episode of the podcast is sponsored by 7-Eleven.
The WWE Network, where you can catch all your favorite WWE programming for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
It's $9.99?
It's not $10.
It's not $1,000.
Not $1 million.
But only $9.99. Also brought to you by 7-Eleven. Enjoy a super big gulp.
And K Jewelers. Show somebody you care with an overpriced piece of jewelry.
Diamond cutter?
It's me. It's
DDP. Soft high five. Once again, as the commission mentioned, we are here to preview tables, ladders, and chairs 2018. Shall we get on with the show?
Just a brief history, just for new listeners to the podcast. TLC has always been historic and epic because of the ramifications of the match itself. It always brings about like the best in superstars and also the worst in like match results. You guys have always seen like either the greatest of TLC matches or the most horrendous moments during a TLC match. I personally think. And with that, you always wonder like who gets the better of it. But lately, in the new era, we have to keep it safe. Let's just make it about the pay-per-view era. The TLC name isn't what it is unless the match itself is a TLC match.
Regarding that, I agree. What do we have? We got what was supposed to be Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman was supposed to be TLC.
It's rumored.
I think the women's triple threat is supposed to be TLC, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have two.
Two of them. Which I think is a healthy amount.
Assuming they both happen.
Well,
we don't know yet. We don't know if Braun's going to be good to go.
I think he's going to show up. He should be fine within 2 weeks. I personally think.
I'm just saying. Did they even mention it on Raw yesterday?
He kept saying, the rumor is
he's going to forfeit and I'm going to win via forfeit and be...
I'm going to be the third of power and general manager of Raw. Wow. And my name's Baron Corbin and I'm a piece of shit. You know what? Let's just cut to my segment real quick. The commish keeps it real. Anyone want to introduce me in real quick?
Ladies and gentlemen, the commish gets real.
Fuck you, Baron Corbin. I don't care what you're doing with your gimmick. I don't care if this is the only thing you got going for you. Maybe you finally went to creative and they told you this is the only way you could get sold. But I don't like you. I have an affinitive hatred for you because you've always been useless in my eyes. And I'm glad that John Cena and Kurt Angle have been a stain in your career recently. I'm very proud of that. And everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of the jorts wearing, you can't see me, 5-knuckle shuffle, a-hole John Cena. Guys, anything to add on to this before I finally say it?
You bully video game looking son of a bitch.
I personally think he's doing great.
Fuck Baron Corbin. The commish got real.
Fuck Ronda Rousey.
Now that I can agree with.
Oh, here we go. That's for another episode.
Just
which will be coming maybe.
Just kidding. Anyhow. So yeah, you want to just jump in then?
Let's do it. Match breakdown guy, take it away.
By the way, this is a co-branded pay-per-view event. It is not Raw. It is not SmackDown this year. It is both brands doing the event. So we're going to start with the triple threat tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Current champions The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus versus the newest of New Day, depending on whether it's Big E, Kofi Kingston, or Xavier Woods. Also against, I'm just going to say it right now, my favorites to hopefully win this, the Usos, Jay and Jimmy Uso. There's been a lot going on with The Bar recently, especially with, once again, the big shows.
Well, it's the big turn.
What number is he at after this?
Well, he's at 30 right now.
But does this count as a turn, though?
What do you mean? Did I miss something?
Didn't he punch what's his name in the face?
Cesaro the other day
on SmackDown.
It was I think it was a backstage segment, and then he just wasn't at ringside with them. So I don't.
Really?
Yeah, he knocked him out.
Well, we're at 31.
31 turns, 31 flavors. Big Show Robbins.
Also, along with Big Show Robbins, we have Booty O's.
They make sure.
You ain't booty. How do you guys feel about this match?
I hate to say it, but I'm smelling another pre-show match here.
Maybe.
Truly a big shame because all competitors, and I am talking about all competitors, honestly deserve a whole lot more than they're getting.
Well, how much have the Usos done this year to prove that they're like the best heel tag team out of everyone?
The last year and a half, I mean, they got it. Because I think I said it before, when the Usos turned heel, I'm like, oh, here we go. Another face tag team turning heel. Okay, good luck with that. But no, I mean, they went all out. Got rid of the face paint, got rid of the colors, new entrance theme, new wardrobe, new style, new way of talking. And they actually found themselves. So it's like with that, you would expect them to be pushed. But no, you're going on the pre-show.
Well, we've discussed it before, and I don't agree with it. I would rather have them, no offense, I'd rather have the next match, Elias versus Bobby Lashley, as your pre-show, and give these guys that first match on the main card, because we talk about how the tag teams, they come out, they perform, they get the audience hyped, and then you throw them from the kickoff show to a garbage first match a lot of the time, and then everyone's like, oh, okay. Or you're only good enough to chain that into the first match, and then your third match is garbage. So take a big match with a lot of good talent, and probably a decent number of good spots, and throw that as your actual first match. They deserve a spot on the main card for once in their goddamn lives.
You know, at this point, I would have just thrown this match in because it was so conveniently thrown in last night to Monday Night Raw. The whole Rhino versus Heath Slater match. I would have thrown that into the pre-show this Sunday.
Yeah.
Have those two fight it out for their job, and one becomes a referee.
They might even do the Mixed Match Challenge finals as your pre-show. I don't know.
I would rather have that than have Usos and New Day and Bar.
Well, these 6 individuals or 7 in this case, are very deserving of being on the actual show. No more of this pre-show shit. Like, for real.
And please, can Cesaro get a Royal Rumble win?
Well, we haven't predicted that yet, but again, there's no roster to who's going to be on the Royal Rumble yet. So there's very much time for that.
Well, there's a component of that I want to talk about when we do discuss the Mixed Match Challenge match, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but there is a stipulation that whichever team wins gets the 30 entrant in both of them. And I think I know who they're going to pick to win, but we'll see.
All right, so who do you guys have going for this? I said the Usos are going to be champions. That's my pick.
At this point, I'm fine with that.
Wow, defeatedly choosing them.
Well, I just want them to do something.
Something, yeah. That's
Okay. How do you feel? Who wins?
I wouldn't mind any team winning. If I had to pick one, I would say the Usos probably need it because I think they were off TV for a minute, and they recently kind of came
They
back.
put them off for like 6 months.
I think after Mania they just kind of like disappeared.
I reluctantly think maybe we should see the New Day take a break.
So after this match, New Day just fades away like the Usos?
I think they should split up for a minute. You could potentially readjust Big E. He'd have to change his attitude from fun-loving Big E back to serious Big E Langston. You could push him toward a title match. Doesn't have to be a serious title match, but he could be a burner match. Kofi and Xavier could spend a little time in the mid card, maybe. Or you could have Kofi go to the mid card, Xavier step over and be a manager for someone else for a minute. I just think that the fact that of these three teams, that's all we've seen of that tag division for the most part for months, or
From
at least
SmackDown, at least.
that's
I
what it
can
feels
agree
like to
with
me. I would say let's freshen it up a little bit. Either cycle somebody else in, or split one of them up for a minute and let them do something else, and then bring them back together. But I just think we need a breather from these groups.
Well, you want to talk about splitting somebody up? What if we split the bar? I mean, I think Commissioner, we've talked like twice. I'm still waiting for a Cesaro push, and I would say a great way to do that would be winning the Royal Rumble. He's one of my candidates.
Yeah, you could push. You could split them up too. That would also make sense. I mean, you just see them fraying at the edges. They had Big Show. Big Show knocks out Cesaro. Now these two have their own heat, and they split up. That works too.
Well, then
But I just don't want to see the New Day versus the Usos for the next 6 months.
Well, I would say this, then, like, maybe have the New Day fade away for a little bit, kind of like the Usos. The Usos have the belts and split up the bar, and maybe that'll give SmackDown the push to further develop the tag division, because it seems like Raw has it better right now, and that's very hard to say, that Raw has something good going. But I would say do that. Split up Cesaro and Sheamus, give the Usos the belts, and have the New Day fade away for a while.
Would you mind seeing Usos versus New Day at WrestleMania?
If
Not
they're-
pre-show.
If they're faded away, yeah.
Very well.
Next match, Dan. You kind of mentioned it, but
Next match is Elias versus Bobby Lashley.
Lashley.
With that was Leo Rush. With Leo Rush.
He's not really here. We're impersonating him.
But that was a damn good impression, guys.
Whose?
Both.
So here's the question.
Singles match with no real stakes.
So here's the question: who wants to walk with Elias?
I'll walk with Elias.
I mean, I would. I failed to remember what WWE stands for.
Walk with Elias.
I'm not sure where I can confirm that. I think I actually do. You can catch this catchphrase only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
And there it is.
All right, so we got Elias versus Bobby Lashley. We saw Elias face turn a little while back. And then you got Bobby Lashley being
Holding his ass out.
Bobby Booty Cheeks Lashley.
AKA Bob the Builder 2.0. AKA LaPisha.
Building them glutes. So,
All with a headband.
why are you wearing the headband?
And sunglasses.
Why do you wear your sunglasses at night?
For the
Anyway, so Elias versus Bobby Lashley. Lashley's probably gonna win. I'm just looking at it at face value. I could 100% see them just go, just put Bobby over. Fuck it. I'd like to see Elias win.
This kills off Elias if he loses, in my opinion, because lately it seems like, okay, he
Right.
did the face turn, yeah, that's okay, but are they finally starting to give him a push?
Yeah.
And is this a good time for his push, especially leading into Royal Rumble next year?
I would say that Elias's face turn followed by whatever he's been doing as of recent has been so natural, has not been forced. Because I mean, the fans were going along with his catchphrases. That I mean, they have been for like the last year.
Yeah.
Granted, he was a heel at the beginning of the year, and now his turn, in late October, early November?
Roughly.
It just seems like the WWE is finally starting to put some of his mid-card talent into perspective again. And to put Bobby Lashley over Elias, I think that would kill off his momentum. And I don't like that for Elias personally.
Yeah.
I could see Leo being involved, costing him the match again, and you could even build towards something else where you again see Elias, Finn Balor, and Braun versus those three. Maybe. I'm just throwing things out there. I don't necessarily want to see that, but that's something that could happen. I would like to see Elias win.
Yes, me too.
I'm gonna go for that as well. So we're all in unison for Elias.
Yep.
Let's walk with him.
Moving as we walk forward, the following match is a singles match.
Scheduled for one fall.
Finney Balor versus Andrew. I get my own appreciation night, McIntyre.
Oh, hold on.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Andrew McLean Galloway the Fourth,
a.k.a. Drew McIntyre.
Drew has been built as an absolute beast.
And it's amazing!
I feel like I'm going to say this with every person. I would say even Royal Rumble candidate. Maybe. Because I think, I don't know, did Brock and Drew have like a stare down at one point? Or am I confusing him with Braun? Because like you see Braun and Drew just comes and he just measures up.
Right up, yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
Drew's a big ass guy.
Yeah.
Do you think like this is finally Vince McMahon getting what he's always wanted
his
out of
chosen
Drew?
one? Probably.
Because remember, he made it perfectly clear on a SmackDown years ago. I signed him. I make him my main event guy.
And then you put him in 3MB to have the worst losing record of all time.
I forgot until that scene with Braun. I forgot that Drew was a big guy because of the whole 3MB thing.
Yeah.
I thought I guess because they were such a small act, I assumed they were all kind of short dudes, and then you saw Drew step up to Braun, you're like, holy shit!
No, Drew's a fucking machine.
And he kind of bulked up too.
Yeah.
So
the two that got fired did. Jinder shot up. Pumped up. Drew looks
you
like
heard it here first, people.
Drew looks like a monster.
Naturally,
and then he just had more kids.
But no, if we look at Drew McIntyre, let's be real. Like he has stepped up a lot. Again, this is WWE creative doing something very well with him. The push that he got even further last night was proof enough that they believe in him now. Especially now that we did kind of call this out in an episode that you will see the dissension between McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Mm-hmm. And it's paying off very well. You get Dolph his face turn, or maybe he's like an anti-hero for a while. But at least Drew's getting the recognition he deserves now.
And Michael Cole actually brought this up too. That was actually his first loss since he's been back. And to be honest, I don't mind. Because this way, you don't bury Dolph to lose another match. But you have Drew lose, but it's because of interference.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of protects.
But
both
here's the
guys.
thing as far as this match goes. Like, we've seen Finn and Drew, like, they've been working very well together. Like, their matches on Raw have been pretty solid. Drew getting the most of the offensive. It's just, are we burying Finn, or is this a push that he's getting along with Drew to build up to something where in the Royal Rumble you see these two do something very drastic? Not like a one-on-one at Royal Rumble, but like in the 30-man match.
Stare down, yeah.
I think that's the build-up, but either way, I'm just going to call it now. I give this match to Drew.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Drew.
But without the outside interference.
Yeah.
I expect Drew to win, and it's not that I don't necessarily want him to win, but if we're going to take Finn Balor along with Drew on this push, considering the fact that we're still without Roman, so you still have his main event spot open, I'm not against the idea of having this be a highly competitive match where Finn is still finding a way to get the offense in, and then he somehow pulls out the win. I don't want it off a coup de grace. I would rather it be like a
Roll up?
I want it to be a really pretty looking roll up though. Like it's got to be an out of nowhere acrobatic kind of pin that steals the win, and he dips, and Drew's like, "This is bullshit." So I'm gonna go against you guys just on principle. I'm gonna say I would like to see Finn win so that we have push going for 2 guys.
Beautiful.
Do you have the next one?
I do, and I'm very happy to discuss this one.
Here we go.
Just got my Becky Lynch sweater in the mail yesterday, so let's move on to the champ, the man, Becky Lynch
The Baxter.
versus Charlotte Flair
Woo!
versus Nobody's Ready for
Asuka.
Triple threat TLC match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship.
Finally, the best competitive match for these 3. I think it's about time that we brought Asuka back into main event status with the ladies. And what better way with this match, especially at TLC?
I think I brought this up like almost 3 months back where I said I wouldn't mind seeing the Charlotte and Becky feud culminate in a TLC match. We're getting that. However, we're getting a third element with Asuka. And I know, Dan, you were saying you're seeing rumors about Becky possibly dropping the title, but I think this could be all for the best because depending on if this is if the belt's hanging from the ladder or if we're just talking a normal pin or submission match, I would.
It's a TLC match.
But is it pinfall or submission or is the title?
It just says TLC match for the championship.
Yeah, I know, because I know TLC matches on the video games for a long time were just pin or submit.
Actually, they were the opposite.
What? Were
Belt,
they?
yep.
Maybe they started out that way and then
I
they
think
switched it over,
they
but
switched it
either
over,
way,
yeah.
it became
But I
to
think
where
this-
it was pinfall.
Yeah, but I think this would be the best way to have it as this because you also have a closure between Charlotte and Asuka that never really got resolved, even
About
if it
that.
was a streak broken or whatever. I'm just saying.
So let me just put it like this. I think if Asuka wins this match, it would be perfect because you can have Becky lose indirectly, so you're not killing off her momentum.
Yeah.
You can have Becky go on to possibly win the Rumble and then choose to fight Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. And then have Charlotte and Asuka do a part
Rekindle
2.
Their rivalry.
And kind of build Asuka by having her go over this time on Charlotte. Because let's be honest, after Mania, Asuka has just
She's been palling around with Naomi in a rave.
completely
dance.
irrelevant. So how do you give her back some credibility for the title at WrestleMania where it all started? You put her over.
Well, so you're saying put the belt on Asuka.
But have Becky lose indirectly, not directly.
So by pulling the title down.
Or pinning Charlotte or submitting Charlotte.
So let's just say it is a TLC. Let's just say the belt's hanging there. Would it be kind of like one of those situations where Becky gets like tied up in the rope and she can barely get there? Charlotte's down, and then you just see Asuka climb to grab the belt.
Yeah.
Damn, I called it.
Another thing, I know I keep throwing this out at every fucking pay-per-view, but another thing we could do is we could have the 4 horsewomen
Oh, here it is.
come in and then they maul both Becky and Charlotte because of the fact that they've been so in your face with Ronda. And that leaves Asuka free to take the title. And as long as she doesn't, like, ally herself with them, like, you don't see anything like that, I think Asuka doesn't get hurt. It doesn't turn her heel. She just goes, well, shit, why wouldn't
Taking
I win the
advantage.
match?
Yeah. But then how would you build that until WrestleMania?
Into WrestleMania, you could do what then you could still kind of do what you did. You could have Becky win. She goes on against Ronda. You could have Shayna versus Charlotte, and you could have the other 2 versus the randoms. Marina and whatever the hell the other one's name is.
Oh, when you said randoms, I thought you were talking about Sasha and Bayley.
No. The other 2, that's who that was. Charlotte or Sasha and Bayley were the other ones.
Oh.
I don't even know their fucking names. Marina and
Something Schaefer.
Stephanie.
Jessamine Duke.
Jess and Marina. But yeah, so what are we thinking here? I personally I don't want to see Becky lose the title this soon, but I'm not against your idea here. So I'm still going to say Becky, but I'm not mad about Asuka.
I would want Sean's build up, so I would have Asuka win this match. I would want her to win too, because I personally just want to see the closure that we never got to saw between Charlotte and Asuka, because you only gave them one match and that was it, and then it turned into like Asuka versus Carmella for a while.
Yeah.
And not to discredit Carmella, but still, it's like there wasn't anything really great with those two. There was more with Charlotte and Asuka that we never got to really see.
Shark in a cage match.
With fucking sausage fingers. So, this is your match. Go ahead.
We have a singles match for the WWE Championship. Current champion Daniel Bryan.
The new Daniel Bryan.
Bryan Danielson.
The old Daniel Bryan is dead. Versus AJ Styles. Now, I'm sorry for being so reluctant in giving AJ a proper introduction like I normally do.
was going to say.
But I have nothing against AJ. I have nothing against the Chosen One. But lately, I'm kind of getting tired of seeing him.
Really? Why?
Let's see. He's been in almost every single pay-per-view match.
He is the champion.
He was
for
the
over
champion.
a year.
He has been in a constant battle with Joey Samoa over something that has just been like, I'm over it already. Like, give me something more with AJ.
I think AJ's suffering a little bit from Roman Reigns syndrome, where he's so oversaturated at the top of your card, and it makes sense because he was champion the entire time. But I think he should probably lose this match, and maybe drop to the mid card for a minute, or take a vacation for a month, or something. But I agree. I think he needs something to keep him fresh, because if we just keep seeing this shit, people are going to start to get irritated with it.
Yeah, and that's the reason. Like, he broke it down very well for me.
Break
like,
it down.
I'm just tired of it. Like, I feel like I'm getting too much of AJ, and it's like, can I get somebody else? There's a lot of talent on SmackDown, and I'm more than happy to see.
And it's not that we don't like AJ, but it's just been singles matches for the most part.
Okay, so let me ask a question. I guess I'm taking a quick survey here.
Hey, yo.
Would you say that AJ is possibly a victim of circumstance? Because I think
Of Roman Reigns?
no. I'm talking because I think his title run was pretty good until we got to Mania, and we were like, "Holy shit!"
The ball kicking.
The Shinsuke versus AJ. This ought to be great. And then it was like, oh.
And then we had it the next month, and we were like, oh.
And if you really consider, they had to fill up the Super Showdown and the Greatest Royal Rumble and that other one.
That, by the way, he won't say it, but I'll say it for him. SummerSlam.
No.
Extreme Rules?
No.
Oh, the
you
event
can't-
that I
you
can't even
can't
say
say
the
it.
city of, since I'm the fucking host of the show.
Brother.
Yeah.
So
okay.
if
All right.
if for a second, if you take those matches out, it's like, okay, they were still horrendous, but when you take those like
you had that proximity.
you had to
of
fill
like
that
2
up.
weeks.
And with Brian not showing up to
Crown Jewel, brother.
you had to take out Daniel Bryan. Oh, we're getting Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles again.
Yeah.
So I think
Could have gone
AJ,
with Rusev. Could have gone with Cesaro.
and that's another one. Rusev got only one title, only one title match, and that was it.
And it was on a pre-show too. That was like crappy, jaded event. He was on the pre-show card with Shinsuke for the U.S. title.
Oh well, yeah. We were talking about the actual WWE champion.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I'm
he-
still talking as far as title match for Rusev.
He got a WWE title match, and then he got his U.S. title match, and then what the hell's he been doing since Milwaukee?
Well, apparently not a lot, but Lana, on the other hand, she's been a lot of backwardsing. But here's
Stop being so anal.
I think because AJ has had to be filler. At one point, you can even see his rivalry with Samoa Joe just be like, All right, I guess we're wrestling again. Oh, they have to put us here at CJ. Sure. Like, you don't even feel the rivalry anymore with Samoa Joe and AJ because it's like, okay, we had the controversial tap out pin, and then we had another instance of a match where it's just like,
Well, SummerSlam was a no contest.
and then Samoa Joe hurts his knee,
Yeah.
and it's like even he's at this point like, can I wrestle somebody else now?
I think right when things were getting good, AJ loses the title. I think the whole thing with Daniel Bryan was great. But it's like once that kicks off, he loses the championship.
But my thing is too, it's like, I'm glad that like they decided like, hey, let's put the belt on Daniel Bryan, and let's have the person who we know can get a rise out of anybody do it for him, Paul Heyman. Because if it wasn't for Paul Heyman instigating to AJ about all the better wrestlers in the WWE, that match would have never happened. Even though they would have had this match at Survivor Series technically.
Possibly.
No one really wanted to see AJ and Brock because Brock would just destroy him, even though AJ would try. I think even though we knew Brock was going to destroy Daniel Bryan, you got to see a side of Daniel Bryan we haven't seen in a while. Just, let me take an ass beating for a good 5-10 minutes, then out of nowhere, just turn it on, fucking make Brock feel like, holy shit, this guy actually wants to kick my ass. Now I have to wrestle.
I think Michael Cole made a comment towards the end of the match where he's like, yeah, Brock Lesnar, he knew that he was in a fight tonight, because we've said this before. Basically, all of Brock's matches is just finishers.
Yeah. Because that's what happens when you put like we said, the Titans against each other. The Roman Reigns, the Braun Strowmans, and the Brock Lesnars. The only thing that's going to put them down is finishers, so that might as well be your whole match.
Who are we going for?
Brian.
I don't see this having any ramifications leading into January, so I'm just going to say Daniel keeps the title.
I think if he doesn't have the title and they don't put him in the Rumble, or they put him in the Rumble and eliminate him again, I think people are still going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So I think it's safer to have the belt on.
Because Commission, a couple episodes back, we literally booked Brian from Survivor Series all the way to Mania. But with this heel turn, that's all now out the window.
Yeah.
So you say Daniel Bryan?
I'm saying Daniel, but shenanigans. Yeah.
More nut kicking. This is what the Shinsuke thing should have been.
AJ doesn't need more kids, though. Just saying.
So you're advocating for more nut kicking?
No, I'm just saying no more nut kicking. But again, the guy already has enough kids.
AJ, just wear a fucking cup. Oh. Why aren't you wearing a cup?
World Cup?
The best in the world.
You can catch
that horrible World Cup tournament.
I'm surprised
only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price. Controversial of only $9.99.
Surprised they didn't blacklist that event.
Oh, I should have.
So I get to address this one too. Yay!
Thank you for not giving me this one. RRBB
You'll get more letters after this, I'm assuming.
Depending on the makeup.
Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax. Nia Facebreaker Jax. Shut the fuck up. Tamina at ringside. Y'all say fuck Ronda Rousey? Fuck Nia Jax. Singles match for the Raw Women's Championship. You guys watch this match from Raw
Can I
last
throw
night?
you one better?
What?
Fuck this match.
Fuck this match.
Fuck all three of them.
No, you know why I say that? Because it doesn't make any sense. Because they're starting to boo Ronda, so she's kind of turning. Nia's already a full-blown heel. Who wants to see this match?
Well, she just had the big turn.
I don't give a fuck. Anyone care? Raise your hand if you care. Oh, nobody's raising their hand.
Moving on.
Nobody cares. Ronda's going over.
Unfortunately.
Let's move to the next match. There, we're done. You got...
We give so much attention to the SmackDown title and then fuck this one.
Because the Raw... Okay.
It's
you want to give it attention?
So. Did you watch the tag match last night?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I wanted to knock the look off of Nia's face every time she did anything.
Now you see what I see. Okay.
No, I've hated Nia this entire time.
I know, but
I don't
you
find her
see
interesting.
it.
And Ronda, I've advocated for before, she's gotten better.
Better.
She's still not amazing, and we've addressed still she's got kind of a fragile ego. People,
it still leaks out. Her ego leaks out, and it's pretty bad for the WWE.
So
they're not seeing it, but as fans in the universe, they're seeing it.
And you guys probably heard she made the comment, "Oh, I can't be wrestling forever because I feel like I'm letting down my family." Well, I feel like that's probably really just you trying to hide the fact that you're sad that they're going to book you to lose.
She really can't take losing. She can't. She never has. She's never been able to be a losing competitor in anything because she's always been touted to be a winner. That you can only know what it is to win. From the beginning of her whatever MMA career, even before UFC.
MMA career?
Briefly, I don't want to
really.
I don't
UFC.
I don't want to take jabs at
Nia Jax?
No, we're talking about Murr.
But I mean, not with that punch, man. That's all it's gonna take if Nia decides she wants to step into the act again. But no, she. So we know that I don't want to downplay her struggles with depression, but this is a.
Does she?
I'm gonna break kayfabe a little bit. This is a fictional sport. You're gonna be booked to lose. Fans may not like you. I feel like there were UFC fans that didn't really like you because you were kind of an arrogant bitch.
She was an arrogant bitch.
Get used to it. But just like the fact that she got hit with a kendo stick and then she's walking up the ramp and people are going, "Thank you, Charlotte.
Amanda Nunes is better.
You're not a man. Calm the fuck down. Go backstage. The night's over. You still got your belt. That's really what's most important to you, isn't it?"
Is that the end of your?
That's the end of my rant. But yeah, no, I don't give a shit about this match.
Wait. Okay, he got to throw in his 2 cents about this match. Let me just throw in mine real quick. I agree with him. This match is pointless. She's gonna go over. She'll get her fucking woos and happiness in because she won. But he's right. It's a fictional, pre-booked sport, but you're still giving the ability to wrestle, to actually compete. Knowing that you have to lose, okay, that shit should not shatter your fucking ego if 1 week they're telling you, hey, you gotta drop the belt or you gotta take an L, or the following week or month, we'll put you right back up.
You were in a movie once, weren't you, Rhonda? It's the same thing.
You just gotta fucking act. And even then, Michelle Rodriguez kicked your ass. My point is, the reason why I find this match fucking stupid is because I'm sick of Nia Jax. Her fucking woos of crying about her fucking knuckles being broken and then taking proud joy and credit of it for fucking up what was supposed to be the best Survivor Series match in my life was taken away from me by her. And now you have Tamina, out of all people by your side, just...
Tamina Snuka.
I'm a part of the Snuka family. I belong here.
I'm just here so I don't...
No one's done shit with your career on Raw for the last few years, especially with the numerous fucking injuries you've had. You know what I want to see? And I would love to see this. Let's just say Ronda and Nia have a decent match. Let's say Tamina gets taken out by Ronda. Out of nowhere.
Got it.
What?
Oh, jeez.
Becky comes out.
Who?
Becky?
No.
I thought you said Big E, and I'm like, why is
I was
Big
like,
E
yeah,
getting
why is he?
involved?
I wouldn't
No.
mind that either.
This is just for the Raw side. Just to keep Raw relevant with that women's championship out of nowhere. Who was her tag team partner last night?
Ember Moon.
Helps her out of nowhere. But right before Ronda's about to put on the armbar, Ember just fucks her up. And lets Nia win. Why does Nia win the championship? Because Ember can beat Nia. Ember Moon has Nia Jax's number. I would rather see Ember Moon get a push for that championship at this point.
So what?
That's just me.
What it sounds like you might be advocating for is that we just remove the titles from both women that currently have it and start from scratch.
Yes. Or if the Royal Rumble happens where Becky wins, unfortunately you keep the stupid belt on Ronda. And as Ronda's sitting out there, just like Alexa was last year, watching the Women's Royal Rumble, Ronda sees Becky win the Women's Royal Rumble, and Becky's just staring her down like, I'm now coming for your belt, bitch. Let's go.
If you remove the belts from both people, you could have Ronda and Becky in the Royal Rumble match. And then this is where we have our initial build for the 4 Horsewomen. Because then you just throw all 8 of them into
I
that.
knew you would go to that. I was waiting for it. There it is. We don't care who wins. Let's just move to the next match.
That becomes what your entire Women's Royal Rumble match is about, is those 8 women.
Moving forward, and because I'm happy to get to call this next match.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm the acting general manager elect of Raw, Baron Corbin versus Braun. Come get these hands, Strowman, in a tables, ladders, and chair match.
Oh my.
With the following stipulations. If Strowman wins, Corbin will be stripped of all authoritative power, and Strowman will receive a Universal Championship match at Royal Rumble against current WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar.
Bork Laser.
Or if
If Corbin Dallas wins.
he becomes the he becomes the
Say it.
Give me a minute. Oh, I
For
can't say it. Someone say it for me. Fuck.
full-time general manager of Raw.
Oh, God. Okay. What do we have going in this match?
Lot of retching in there for you ASMR fans.
What do we have going in this match? There's a lot on the line. There's a lot of hatred.
I personally feel like this match doesn't need to be a TLC match.
They just needed a marquee TLC.
I would say make it a chair match, make it a table match.
I think someone's going to get buried. Someone's getting buried in this match. And unfortunately, it's going to be Braun.
You really think so?
Everyone's liking Baron Corbin. It seems like he's getting this push because you described that you like his push right now, right? Do you like his push right now as general
I
manager?
don't really care about Baron Corbin.
So it's this mixed feeling about him right now in the universe.
I mean, I'm not saying he's the highlight of the show, but it's like when he has a segment, you can tell he's firmly in his role. He knows what he's doing. When he had long hairs, it's like, okay. And he even won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at 1 year. It's like, okay, what are you doing now? When he won Money in the Bank, nobody cared. Now it's like, if he's on TV, like, I care. I really do. Because I'm like, finally someone who gets their gimmick and knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like...
I'm not advocating for a push by any
like,
means.
Like, do we really need him? Like, honestly, do we need him? I would be so okay with not seeing him on TV for a while. Hell, not even seeing him on Raw for a while.
I personally think that in every era you need like an authority figure to go against, and it just happens that Corbin is.
I will tell you this. I would prefer William Regal back as the Raw commissioner.
I think we would all like that.
Yes. Hell, I would even push for a William Regal push one more time in his career.
Thank you.
Give him
Someone
a
said
WWE
it.
championship.
Thank you.
I like Regal. I just know he's beat to shit.
I just thought of something. Let's say Braun wins. But you know how he wins? Out of nowhere, you get to see the greatest angle slam of all time. From the current, on vacation Raw general manager, Kurt Angle. And Kurt gets his job back.
Off the Titantron.
Yeah, why not? But again, how do you guys see? Who do you see winning this?
I expect Braun to win.
I want Braun to win because it's
Same.
about goddamn time the guy gets his title match and
He
wins.
had to wait since Money in the Bank?
Well, you could have
He got it technically against Roman at Hell in a Cell.
and he got it
At CJ. At CJ. Let's just call it CJ. He got it then, but even then, who ruined it? Baron Corbin.
But honestly, I feel like if it happened at CJ, it would have been meh.
They keep dicking him around like they did with Roman.
Yeah.
And I
Which
think
is bullshit.
I think that's I think that's one of the things that hurt Roman. I know nobody at this table was exceptionally excited about the prospect of Roman getting the main event title, but we would have probably moved on to other shit if they had just put the belt on him sooner. Same thing with this. The longer that they dick around, the longer we're going to see Braun constantly pursuing Brock, and Brock's going to have the title, and let's just get it over with.
Because at least I see if Braun has the Universal Championship, I think he could put on good matches with other competitors.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I think the universe is annoyed by the fact that I don't know the math, but I feel like the Universal title has really only been on the show for like a total of 2 months in the entire time that Lesnar has been back in the WWE. So I think you can't really build a successful program without your main event title. I'm sorry.
And,
I just don't think you can.
And look, again, don't get me wrong, I've always been a fan of Brock.
Attention to the mid card. Good.
I've always been a fan of Brock Lesnar. Everyone knows this. But it's kind of getting annoying, like him mixing his WWE career all of a sudden with the UFC again. And it's like, come on, man. Stick around to one or stop fucking around with both.
Yeah.
Like, really dedicate yourself to one or leave both completely. Because I'm pretty sure at the age you're at, you're still young enough to enjoy retirement. You've made enough money. Vince has graciously enough paid you. Hell, fucking Dana White graciously paid you. And now you're just waiting for him to pay you again so you can fight somebody that can actually kick your ass in UFC. I'm just saying.
It's like, I get it with the whole Roman thing happening. It's like you had to kind of shuffle your plans. And then at Survivor Series with Becky getting injured, you had to, get Bryan to win, so you had to shuffle your plans again. I'm just trying to figure out whose idea it was to put the belt back on Brock.
Creative or Vince.
And I love Lesnar. I'm putting that out there. But it is coming to a point where it's like, okay, your matches are getting redundant. Everything is just getting redundant.
And I think the only reason why he's not as redundant is because of the fact that maybe somebody saw like, okay, we need to give Brock credibility. With AJ, he wasn't going to get it. He got it with Daniel Bryan. Because let's be real. I said it on the last episode about Survivor Series. Daniel Bryan gave Brock a competitive match, and this is the first time in this whole fucking year that we actually saw Brock try. He actually had to try to kick his ass, as opposed to like dominating him for the first 5-10 minutes. He actually had to try. And it's like, okay, now we remember that you can wrestle. Now we remember that you can actually put on a match. Because let's face it, when Brock first began, he was a wrecking machine. He could go through anybody. The Rock, Kurt Angle.
But he was also put up against people that could take that beating, and you believed that they still had a chance to come back.
The Hogans, the Rocks, the Triple H's, the Undertakers.
And I understand that, but now it's like there is still people that can actually wrestle you, but you don't want to fucking try.
Yeah.
You just want to do what you said earlier, Titan versus Titan, like
5 F5s, and that's the end of the match.
Or 5 fucking spears or Superman punches, and then he still loses because Brock has to go over. So again, like with the ramifications of Braun getting the belt, that's what I would like to see at the beginning of next year, and then see a national Universal Champion that would dedicate himself just like Roman Reigns to stick around, to be on TV with that belt. Because you could see Finn try to go after it. When he's finally healed up and actually believing in himself again, Kevin Owens can go after it. Hell, your guy who's been on the shelf, who's probably ready to come back at Royal Rumble, give Sami Zayn a push. A lot of people on Raw are deserving of it, and we need better programming again. I think the reason why Raw's sucking so bad is because of our Universal Champion as well. Not just because of bad writing, but bad booking as well.
I was just going to say, they even brought up an issue on Raw and made it a storyline. Why is Rhino gone? Because there's too many fucking people on Raw. And so you have too many people, and you're focusing on 4. It's the same thing we talked about when you had the War Dogs versus the Shield, and the entire show was just those 6 guys. You have so many more people.
Like
insane. Who the hell did I just... Balor. I think there was somebody else I thought of, and I already forgot who it was. But you have so many other names that you could throw in there and give interesting feuds.
I think Seth and Dean are like the one feud where it's like they're gonna have their TV time, they're gonna get booked because you're not gonna drop the ball with those two. However, I must say that Dean's recent character of like getting all those shots and vaccines and
whatever do you mean, Sean?
I'm like, where are we?
I think his character's quite fine.
What the hell is that?
He's doing Bane, what your boy Dean did last night. That was the whole premise.
Oh, was it?
Like, and I think Dean knew that it was a bad gimmick, hence why he took off the coat. Like, at one point, it was just like, really, this is what you're
I'm
gonna
not digging it.
do?
The whole getting the shots and what is this smell? You people smell. I'm like,
yeah, it's really, really bottom of the barrel heel stuff, and those two are above that.
Okay,
shit.
so you this is the next match. Call it.
Seth Sacco Rollins John versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship.
Just a regular one-on-one match for the belt, not a TLC match. Again, wherever they're going with Dean's character now is starting to get bad. I liked where they were going before with this whole promos. Yeah, granted, you were in disagreement whenever he would mention Roman because of what his situation is in life. But it was still great where they were pushing him. Now you're making him like, oh, well, I'm above everybody. I don't like the universe around me. I'm going to go get...
People are gross.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is the worst character development you could give him.
This is some 1970s style of heel.
This is Michael
heel
Hayes' character creative.
Yeah, fucking Michael Hayes.
But
that's all I have to say. Fucking guy.
I think Dan wants his job, but just saying.
I'd do it better.
Okay.
And you can believe that.
I do believe that. How do you feel about this rivalry and where it's going now? Because Sacco Rollins, John, is your guy, but do you feel like he's just getting like a weird push, even if he's the Intercontinental Champion?
So Seth has been in this really weird place where, because we saw last week, he had a great match with Dolph, even if it was for the
umpteenth time.
Thank you. Seth is that one constant that just you see him and he's relevant and you're digging it and you're tuning in and you're focused. When he's on TV, you're focused. However, it's like, so Seth has had the Intercontinental title since SummerSlam. And it's like when they were having that what did you call it?
Dogs of War.
Dogs of War and Shield, it's like, okay, we got all these titles on these guys, but we're not really doing anything with it.
And there could have been so much done with them at that time.
And I dedicate 2 hours to just those 6 when you could have divided it up across other people, and they just don't.
And I think even Dean Ambrose's comeback was like, oh, when is he coming back? So he just comes back like the Raw before SummerSlam. He comes and then goes to SummerSlam. We're like, oh, he's turning heel. Nope. And he just kind of stays there. And then it's like, the heel turn execution was actually pretty good because of the night that it was on. But this whole thing of like getting the shots and whatnot, I'm not digging it at all.
Yeah, I think his heel turn ended up being justified by the circumstance. I think that with Roman going on the shelf for a while, WWE was like, well, fuck it, let's pull the trigger. And so they just did it. And I don't think they actually had plans at this point? Because they
Not
might
that
have
they have it for anything.
Like they might have had something drafted out for if they had turned him at that first match. When he just cost Rollins the match and then their feud starts.
Yeah.
But then they were like, well, now we got the Shield. Oh, but the Shield just fell apart. Now what do? We don't have the same... We're not in the same mental place as we were at the time.
Yeah.
Because you can't... I mean, I think they kind of tried to touch on it where it's like, well, while I was on the shelf, you didn't care. But now it's just, I hate it. I hate everybody. The audience is gross. It's bullshit.
It's a stale story.
I think that up until the burning of the vest, I think that was great. And then from there is when it's like, what are we doing now?
Yeah. We're smarter than WWE wants to give us credit for. We want good stories. We want good stories. We want rich characters. Give us an actual story to care about with these two. Don't just be like, well, I'm mad. Great, Dean. I'm sorry to hear that. That's what therapy's for.
Well, here's my thing. Like, I thought after the burning of the vest that it was going to be something where, Dean just stops talking. Like, he'll give one more final explanation of why he did what he did, and then he'll just become this character that he is a lunatic. He comes out of nowhere, ruins shit for Seth constantly, and he stops explaining himself because he's done it enough. He's just going to kick his ass, and that's it. But no, you're turning him into this, like, fucking weird, like, Batman-like character. And it's like, when the fuck do we start mixing comic book elements into wrestling?
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's happened in the past, and it's failed fucking horribly. Why the fuck are we making Dean Ambrose come out looking like Bane from Dark Knight Rises?
Hey, man,
really?
I thought the Hurricane was a pretty good character.
That's the only time it ever worked, by the way.
And he got a victory over The Rock.
And my God, thank you, Dwayne Johnson, for putting that guy over. Even though Shane Helms hates you.
I think Dean's heel turn was actually, like, even if it was spontaneous because of Roman coming out with his announcement, I thought that it was pretty good. Because they just win the tag team title, so you're like, oh, so they're not splitting up. But unpredictably and ironically,
Damn.
they hit you with it. And I thought that was great because it's like, why, Dean? Why would you do that? And even having like Seth defending the titles against AOP and Dean is like, I'm not coming out. You lose the titles. Like, I can do shits.
Oh, no,
All you had to do was ask.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they started off great, but then much like everything else, they literally burned it down.
But my thing is what I would have done to keep it like interesting to now. I would have kept the tag belts on them, at least for that title defense against the AOP. Let Dean be up there in the rafters or with the universe, like watching. Fans asking him, like, come on, why are you doing this? Help him.
Help him out.
And then out of nowhere, he helps Seth win. They keep the belts for one more match. And then they could lose them because then Dean can do another turn on him.
Even that would have been an interesting story. Is that he actually hates Seth, but he keeps coming in clutch to retain the titles, just to kind of fuck with Seth mentally. Do I like you? Do I not? Do I just want to be a tag team champion? Nobody knows.
Nobody gives a shit but me. But no, they took it in that direction. They were going fine with just the two, and then you make fucking Dean come out like this. Like, honestly, Dean's return was great, but now it's going for the worse. And I don't like that. And that's what has me rooting for Seth just to win this, because it's like, not to teach Dean a lesson or anything, but it's just like, creative. What are you doing with Dean Ambrose? Like, come on. The guy deserves better.
No.
And this is the best you come up with.
Now, let's talk about this for a second. Dean has made this whole thing about, I should be the Intercontinental Champion. It'll safely fall into my hands. If he doesn't win, where does this go? Does Dean just fall back into obscurity?
If you ask me, I say Dean should go over Sunday. Because then you can kind of build to Seth versus Dean for WrestleMania. Where Seth goes, give me my rematch. Dean is like, I'm not giving you shit.
Like, have Seth start, being cocky
because here's the thing. Seth, it's like, the character development has been like, where are you, Dean? Why did you do what you do? And you saw that segment that one night on Raw where he was chasing him around the arena. He would go and Dean's playing mind games. I actually liked it. Yeah. But I think
Scooby-Doo.
I think you kind of come to a point where Dean starts screwing with Seth mentally, you know? It's like, I'm not going to give you your match. Screw you.
Or he makes him earn it.
There's that.
I would have thought that if you have Seth win, Dean loses it. And he becomes more of the lunatic. He drops this whole fucking I'm better than the crowd bullshit. Starts fucking with Seth again. With more crazier mind games. Make it more personal. Make it as personal as fucking AJ and Samoa Joe, for fuck's sake, if you have to. He can fuck with Renee Young for all I give a shit. Which gets her off commentary for a while.
That was a suggested storyline.
I'm just saying.
I would say
I would have one of them start playing mind games on the other.
But then you would have to have the other one kind of stoop to that level of like, okay, you want to get sick?
What, Seth can't do it?
Oh, Seth can do it.
Exactly.
Seth can do it.
So can Dean.
But I think Dean needs to get Seth to that point of where Seth is like, okay, I tried to be fair. You want to be sick? Let's be sick.
You want to get nuts?
Come on.
Let's get nuts.
So you guys have
A lot of Batman references. In
you
this
guys
segment.
have Dean winning this.
I think
or you have
I
Seth
think
winning
Dean I think Dean goes over, and I think you probably shift Seth into the main event picture pretty soon.
Because I think there was...
Well, I'm still giving it to Seth, but if we get the outcome of Dean winning the belt, I'd be okay with that too.
I think if Dean wins, I think you got to move on though. And I think Seth has to be like, you know what, you do you, and he just goes off and does other shit, and then Dean's kind of there, and he's like, but I want to fight you. All right. So let's wrap it up with the most anticlimactic match of the night, I guess.
The mixed match challenge final match, because we have another mixed match challenge event tonight.
Yeah, so we'll find out who of... So let me gloss through that real quick. So tonight, we're going to see Jeff Hardy and Charlotte versus R-Truth and Carmella, and The Miz and Asuka versus Jimmy Uso and Naomi. And the winners of those two matches will go on to the semifinals probably in 2 weeks to determine who from SmackDown is going to face the winner of Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox and Finn Balor and Bayley. Now, until they announced Finn versus Drew, I was thinking Finn and Bayley were going to win this because I thought, put Finn and Bayley, two fan favorites, in the 30 spots. But now that Finn has a match, I don't think that they'll do that.
Double duty?
I don't think they'll do it.
Does Alicia Fox still have to be
That's
on the roster?
that's not the way you asked the question.
Why is Alicia Fox still around?
Thank you.
So you have Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox versus Finn and Bayley.
Sean.
And I think it's going to be R-Truth and Carmella versus Jimmy and Naomi. I think those are the two teams that are going to win tonight because you have Miz getting involved in this Shane McMahon thing, and you have Asuka in the title match, and you also have Charlotte in the title match. So I don't think either of those teams goes over tonight.
So not Asuka.
Or what I could also see happening is I could see R-Truth and Carmella somehow beating Jeff and Charlotte, and then Miz and Asuka beat Naomi and Jimmy, and then you have R-Truth and Carmella go over Asuka. Not over Asuka, but over Miz and Asuka.
I think...
Because Miz is on his little losing streak right now.
I think
that's how you sell that.
It would be appropriate to give R-Truth and Carmella the push. But on the Raw side, unfortunately, you have to give Jinder and the Fox emoji a chance, I guess.
And that's what I suspect this match is going to be, is Jinder and Alicia versus R-Truth and Carmella. And
Okay,
I
so-
think R-Truth and Carmella go over.
And they win the tournament.
I
this
think
year?
they... Well, I don't think that... I think they're your champions.
You know what I'm thinking? Royal Rumble, number 30, R-Truth comes out. Dance break, starts dancing, and just gets tossed over the top rope.
Probably.
That's so bad.
I think they're going to
it's
burn
gonna
them.
happen.
Like, unless it was Finn and Bayley, I think they're going to burn both these 30 spots.
But with Carmella, do you think she does a dance break?
Oh, she's
during
going to do a
the
dance
Rumble?
break.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna. That would be fucking awful. You watch both of them do the
Do the
exact
same
same thing and get thrown out.
I think it happens like this, though. I think R-Truth does it, he gets thrown out, but then later, the women's Royal Rumble match, R-Truth comes back into it, because he's that fucking nutty to do it. And they both do a dance.
R-Truth, the first person to be well, no, I guess Beth Phoenix was in it. I was gonna say the first man to be in both Royal Rumble
Yep,
matches.
and he gets eliminated from both in the same night.
But again, if we want, we can touch back on this specific setup and just kind of have it be a throwaway in a future episode as we get closer to the actual pay-per-view. Because right now it's all speculation. We'll find out tonight which SmackDown teams are carrying through. Next week we'll decide. We'll figure out if it's Finn and Bayley or Jinder and Fox, and the following week we'll figure out who the SmackDown finalist is, and then that's what we'll do. But so that's where we are with that.
And that's where we are with TLC.
And there you go. We just gave a full breakdown and a full preview of all the matches to come on TLC, which you can catch on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable, very reasonable price of only $9.99. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.